to the Unitarian Universalist Church of Lancaster on this beautiful New Year's Day. It is the bright, sunny day before the storm. I'm just glad it is coming tomorrow so we can all just have a Monday off and that you're all here in church this morning. I want to wish everyone a very happy New Year, and I'm glad that you have joined us here for church on this first Sunday of 2025. This morning we are talking about the three kings. It's the end of the Christmas story, so get ready to journey a little bit. And I want to use these words that I used on Christmas Eve from Howard Thurman as our call to worship because they're just so appropriate they bear repeating. This is his little work called The Work of Christmas. When the song of the angels is stilled, when the star in the sky is gone, when the kings and princes are home, when the shepherds are back with their flocks, when the work of Christmas begins, to find the lost, to heal the broken, to feed the hungry, to release the prisoner, to rebuild the nations, to bring peace among the brothers and the sisters, to make music in the heart. Let us worship together. I invite you to find a gray hymnal somewhere near you. We're going to turn and stand and sing that old familiar favorite, number 259, We Three Kings. Please rise as you're able. We'll sing number 259.
Frankincense to offer have I, incense owns a deity nigh, prayer and praising, all raising worship God most high. O star of wonder, star of light, star with royal beauty bright, westward leading, still proceeding, guide us through this perfect night. Myrrh is mine, its bitter perfume breathes a life of gathering gloom, sorrowing, sighing, bleeding, dying, sealed in the stone-cold tomb. O star of wonder, star of light, star with royal beauty bright, westward leading, still proceeding, guide us through this perfect night. Born a babe on Bethlehem's plain, gold I bring to crown him again. Love forever ceasing, never in our hearts to reign. O star of wonder, star of light, star with royal beauty bright, westward leading, still
chalice. In Unitarian Universalism, the flaming chalice is our most central symbol. For us, it is a flame of truth and of knowledge. It is a light of peace and hope and of justice. We light it at each of our services to remind ourselves of that small flame that we carry within ourselves, that when we bring them together, they create a wonderful light. Let us light our chalice this morning with words from Leslie Cole Causabau. Flame of fire, spark of the universe that warmed our ancestral hearth, agent of life and death, symbol of truth and freedom, we strive to understand ourselves and our earthly home. Please be seated. I want to welcome you again to church this morning. It's good to see all of you here. One of the wonderful things about being a Unitarian Universalist is the variety. So one service is going to be one way and another service another way, and that's just how we all like it. A little bit of everything can go in the mix in a UU church. Want to remind folks that there's lots of illnesses running around. No one should ever feel self-conscious about wearing a mask in this church. If you would like to wear a mask for whatever reason, you are welcome here. And also just a gentle reminder to all of us that if we're not feeling well on a Sunday morning, it's probably best to stay at home and rest and spare everybody else whatever germs we're carrying. So if you have been coming to this congregation for 30 years and you sit in approximately the same place, you know that you are welcome here on a Sunday morning. Likewise, if it is your very first Sunday with us, we are glad that you have joined us and have found us. We hope that you find a home here with us and a place this morning to find inspiration and solace and rest and peace. Welcome to church this morning.
Six, two, one. Why not a star? They told me that when Jesus was born, a star appeared in the heavens above the place where the young child lay.
When I was very young, I had no trouble believing wondrous things. I believed in the star.
It was a wonderful miracle, part of a long ago story, foretelling an uncommon life.
They told me a supernova appeared in the heavens in its dying burst of fire.
When I was older and believed in science and reason, I believed the story of the star explained.
But I found I was unwilling to give up the star, fitting symbol for the birth of one whose uncommon life has been so long remembered.
The star explained became the star understood for Jesus, the Buddha, the Zarathustra.
Why not a star? Some bright star shines somewhere in the heavens each time a child is born.
Who knows where it may foretell?
Our second reading this morning are words from the Gospel attributed to Matthew, the second chapter. In the time of King Herod, after Jesus was born in Bethlehem of Judea, wise ones from the east came to Jerusalem asking, "Where is the child who has been born the King of the Jews? For we have observed his star at its rising and have come to pay him homage." When King Herod heard this, he was frightened, and all of Jerusalem with him. And calling together the chief priests and scribes of the people, he inquired of them where the Messiah was to be born. They told him, "In Bethlehem of Judea, for so it has been written by the prophet. Then Herod secretly called for the wise ones and learned from them the exact time when the star had appeared. Then he sent them to Bethlehem, saying, "Go and search diligently for the child, and when you have found him, bring me word so that I may go and also pay him homage." When they had heard the king, they set out, and there ahead of them went the star that they had seen at its rising, until it stopped over the place where the child was. When they saw that the star had stopped, they were overwhelmed with joy. On entering the house, they saw the child with Mary his mother, and they knelt down and paid him homage. Then, opening their treasure chests, they offered him gifts of gold, frankincense, and myrrh. And having been warned in a dream not to return to Herod, they left for their own country by another road. I invite you to settle in for the sermon. I know some of you might be surprised to sing "We Three Kings" and hear a gospel reading this morning. Isn't Christmas over, you ask yourselves? Well, not officially, not until tomorrow. The 12 days of Christmas end with the arrival of the kings from the east. I like to acknowledge Epiphany each year because it is a holiday that closes out the Christmas season with rich meaning we might otherwise lose in the hurry to get the holidays over with. Hurry to take down the tree, return some odd gifts, and get rid of the wrapping paper. Let us set aside that hurry for an hour. Let us journey together with these last seekers to arrive at the Nativity. Tomorrow morning in Mexico and all over Latin America, children will waken with glee to find what wonderful gifts have been left for them in the night. Tomorrow, January 6th, is El Día de los Tres Reyes, Three Kings Day. Tomorrow, every plaza in Mexico will be filled with little children and their parents as the new toy truck, the new bicycle, or the new doll makes its public debut. Peals of laughter will fill these plazas, offering plentiful thanks to the three mysterious visitors who not only brought these children their gifts, but also brought gifts to the infant Jesus 2,000 years ago, or so the story tells us. But who are these three magi, these three wise ones from the east? Who are these three kings of Orientar, as I used to think the song said when I was little? Who are these strangers bearing strange gifts? And what gifts might they bring us in this new year? Those Mexican kids happily playing with their toys in the plazas know who the three kings are. They have been seeing them up close and in person for weeks now. One of the most wonderful traditions of the Christmas season in Mexico is a family trip to go see the three kings, very much like the traditional family trip to go see Santa Claus in our own culture. In towns and cities, large and small, on weekends throughout December and in early January, outdoor stalls grace the plazas. In these stalls, children can visit the three kings and tell them what gifts they would like. In these cheerfully decorated wooden booths, there's always a plastic horse, a plastic camel, and a plastic elephant, without variation. And astride these three animals are three teenage boys dressed up like the three kings. Again, never any variation. All wearing elegant robes and crowns. One of the boys will have on pale makeup and a blonde wig. One will have on brown makeup and a brunette wig. And the third will have on black makeup and a frizzy black wig. This presentation is what immediately grabs the outside observer. These three kings are not Mexican. They represent the outside world. They symbolize the far away and the different. They are of three different races representing three different cultures. And it is exactly this difference that is celebrated on Three Kings Day. If all three kings looked Mexican, they would lose some of their mystique. Without the makeup and the wigs, these ordinary teenage boys could not become the marvelous visitors from faraway lands that they are. And these teens know that they play an important role. Astride his elephant or camel or horse, these strange-looking boys greet small children with winning smiles and gentle hearts. As the little ones are lifted up to join him, each king knows that the child's hopes and dreams come along with them too. This teenage boy remembers how his father or mother lifted him up to be held by one of the kings when he was little. He remembers what it was like to whisper in the king's ear the name of a much longed for toy. He remembers what it was like to be seen and heard. Epiphany, we know, simply means to see God. Epiphanies happen when we come face to face with the holy. We have an epiphany when something we have not understood becomes clear to us, when we accept something surprising and new. And so it is fitting on this Three Kings Day that it should be known in the Christian calendar as Epiphany. It is the day when the wise ones from the East literally saw God in the infant Jesus. Having seen an unusual star in the east, these wise ones, these astronomers, these scientists decided to follow it. Was it a comet? Was it some other unusual arrangements of stars or planets? Or is it just a marvelous story? A scientific explanation does not matter so very much in a religious story like this one. The journey of these wise ones over rough terrain, through deserts and mountains, across borders and cultures is what matters. The diligence and faith of these seekers is what brought them finally to see what they had sought, though it was not likely what they expected at all. One of the maxims that I always live by is better living through lowered expectations. I find I am a much happier, much more contented person if I can keep in check my own expectations of myself and expectations of other people. When I don't expect too much, I am continually pleased with how well things turn out. In the Christmas story, I would likely have been one of those shepherds, amazed at the way an ordinary night turned out to be extraordinary. But what of those three kings? What did they expect? After their meeting with Herod, they must have gotten their hopes up that they would find something truly magnificent when the star stopped moving. The story sets up the drama for us. King Herod secretly called for the wise ones and learned from them the exact time when the star had appeared. Then he sent them to Bethlehem, saying, "Go and search diligently for the child, and when you have found him, bring me word so that I may go and pay him homage as well." When they had heard the king, they set out, and there ahead of them went the star that they had seen at its rising, until it stopped over the place where the child was. What must these learned astronomers have thought? Did they say to themselves, "We came all the way for this"? Did they give one another disappointed glances as they entered the humble dwelling place? Did they think that they had made some mistake when they found only an ordinary-looking baby with his young mother? Did they have second thoughts about handing over those gifts that they had brought? Were their expectations too high? The last thing they must have been expecting to find at the end of such a long journey is an infant born in a barn to a carpenter and his young bride. The last thing they must have expected to find was a baby born to poverty and struggle in an occupied land. A star of such distinction would surely have led them to a great king, a wise ruler, a powerful person. They must have expected a palace, but no. The epiphany the three kings were to have was that God had broken into their world in the form of a helpless child. The holy had become incarnate in the ordinary. Awe surprised them in the most unlikely of places. The story gives no indication that the three kings were disappointed in the slightest by what they found at the end of their journey. It tells us, when they saw that the star had stopped, they were overwhelmed with joy. On entering the house, they saw the child with Mary, his mother, and knelt down and paid him homage. Then they opened their treasure chests, offering him gifts of gold, frankincense, and myrrh. And here is where the story has great promise for each of us. The most wonderful thing about the story of the three kings is not how rich and powerful and exotic they are. It's not about how important their visit is or how valuable their gifts are. Who brings a baby gold, frankincense, and myrrh anyway? The most wonderful thing about the story of the three kings is not even the persistence of their journey. The most wonderful thing is how they see the sacred in the ordinary. It is how they set aside their expectations, how they approach on bended knee something so common and so precious as a little child. Oh, how their sense of self-importance might have stopped those kings, how their busy schedules and important work might have made them turn back, how their proud and noble birth might have precluded a visit to a lowly house. Oh, how the expectations of others might have blocked their hearts and blinded their eyes. But no, they go into the house. They see the child with his mother. They recognize what they have been seeking, and they humble themselves and give thanks. We too journey like the three kings. We too bear unusual gifts. We too represent the full breadth of humanity. Like the kings, we seek the holy, not knowing quite what we will find or where. We too are strangers bearing strange gifts. As we journey into a new year together, you and I know not what we will encounter within its 365 days. What joys and sorrows will be ours this new year? What triumphs and defeats will we know? What births and deaths, marriages and divorces, jobs lost and gained will we witness? And what is our gift to carry? What will be our star that guides us on? To live the religious life, we must trust that we are being led somewhere. and then we must be willing to accept what we find. The religious life requires trust and patience. It requires us to be comfortable with ambiguity, to have less figured out for certain. The religious life puts us on a journey to a far-off land, seeking heaven knows what, on a schedule that is not of our own choosing. And like the three kings, the journey and its goal can reward us with great joy. But I promise you, what we find at the end of the journey will not be what any of us expects. And this is how it should be. If God were to show up in predictable ways, what little power and usefulness and good would this create? An epiphany is only an epiphany if it is unexpected. We will see the holy in glimpses. We will find amazement in the most unlikely of places. Awe will take us by surprise. You just can't schedule it. You cannot make an appointment with divinity. You cannot plan for the holy to break into your life when it is convenient for you. All you and I can do is open ourselves up to the possibilities. We can only trust that it will happen. And to do that, we must remember what it is like to be a child, what it means to put our hopes and dreams into something greater than ourselves. We must remember what it was like to have a Christmas wish. In Mexico, another ritual associated with Three Kings Day is the writing of a letter to send to the kings on the wind. In the days before Epiphany, small children all over Mexico sit at dining room tables with their parents or grandparents, composing their letters. Each letter will begin, "Queridos Reyes Magos," dear kings. Each letter will include specific toys and gifts the child wishes for. It will include things every little kid knows are way too much to hope for. Each letter will be a list of hopes and wishes. And each mother or father, grandmother or grandfather, older brother or big sister who is helping compose the letter will know not only what to go by, but the depths of sincerity and trust in the little child's heart. When the letters are written, the whole family will go up to the roof of their house or to the top of their apartment building. With great ceremony, the letters will be sent off on the wind, carried out of sight on the updraft. The letters will float over towns and cities to where the three kings are journeying already, day and night. Those letters will reach the kings. They will read them, and they will know what each child wants. And from their supply of carefully packed gifts, quietly in the night, these three kings will pay homage again by leaving a gift for every child. What will you write in your letter to the three kings this year? What hopes and dreams do you have for the year ahead? What unexpected places might you come face to face with the holiness of life? Where might you find your next epiphany? Happy New Year. Amen.
Thank you very much for that beautiful rendition. My friends, when you put up your nativity scenes, well, don't put the kings up right next to Jesus on December 24th. Wait until the nativity and then put them up close. I'm going to tell you a little bit of how the three kings came to Puerto Rico and what they're doing now. Before the Americans colonized Puerto Rico, Spain, the Spaniards were there. Now, the original ancestors, the natives of Puerto Rico, were the Taino Indians, and then the Spaniards came. And in 1898, after the Spanish-American War, the United States came to Puerto Rico. Before that, since we were under the Spanish influence, they celebrated Three Kings Day all over the island because the Spaniards had brought that tradition. The way they did it, the children will put December 5th, which is today, the day before, under their beds, they put a shoebox full of hay in the old days, and now they include carrots for the camels or the horses, since there aren't camels in Puerto Rico. And then the next morning when they wake up, they look under their beds and there are their toys. Now, it was 3 toys, 3 humble homemade toys initially. And because Jesus received 3 gifts, then the children would receive 3 gifts also. And so it continued, and then the Americans came. And they didn't celebrate Three Kings Day. You know who they celebrated? Santa Claus. Now, when they first brought Santa Claus to the island, which was not used to that, well, initially, for a while, they saw him as a white, fat man dressed in red, and he brought, the only thing they liked was that he brought toys, and that was good. But his toys were store-bought toys, and it wasn't down to 3 anymore. It was whatever number the parents could afford. So then, as time passed by today, it's changed a lot. Some Puerto Rican families celebrate both. The children get toys for Santa Claus and then for 3 kings. Well, who wouldn't like that? But some people have phased the 3 kings out, and it's just Santa Claus. But it's good to remember our traditions and where we come from. The gifts that the 3 kings brought were, who knows? Shout it out, gold. What else? Frankincense, and what else? Myrrh. Okay, now tell me the names of the 3 kings. Balthasar, Gaspar, Melchior. Now, I always thought, and this church I love because Christmases ago, we did a play on the 3 kings, and there was only 1 king that was a man and the other 2 were female. I always thought, what about the Queens of Orient? But anyway, I thought about this tradition that we had and how we can apply it to ourselves now. Christmas just passed, for some maybe in a blur. Do you remember 3 gifts you got this Christmas? I've asked some kids and they're like, clueless. Can you remember 3 gifts you gave this Christmas? Oh, good. Do you have any gifts you would like to bring to the Unitarian Universalist Church of Lancaster this year? I don't see the head shaking. I always tell my dear friends, you are a gift to me. And we are a gift to each other in this church. Let us be generous with all our gifts and with each other. Now we prepare to gather the offerings. The recipient this month is Clare House, a transitional housing program for mothers and children in Lancaster. Please come forward. Thank you for your generosity.
Come to church with a joy or a sorrow on our heart, now is the opportunity to press that into a stone and to make it real and place that stone in the sand. I'll start off. We had a death in the congregation this past week. Ann Osborne died. She'd had a stroke, and that was about a month or so ago, and she died this past week. And so our thoughts and prayers remain with her family, and we give thanks for her life, and there'll be a memorial service planned either in the spring or over the summer. So we remember Ann Osborne and give thanks for her life and her participation in this congregation. I also know that if you're like me, the death of Jimmy Carter, while expected, was still painful. What a great man! What a great life to live! What a way to be of service to others. So for Jimmy and for Rosalind, a stone. Please come forward and offer your stones of joy or sorrow. I now invite you as a gathered congregation to settle in and spend a bit of quiet together, and then I'll offer a pastoral prayer. Spirit of life, Holy One from afar, we gather on this first Sunday in the new year, each of us having traveled a great distance. We know that life is a long journey and that it has many stops and many twists and many turns, and there is some comfort in that. There is also comfort in knowing that we do not travel alone. Those three kings, when they set out, it wasn't just one setting out or even two. They went as a group. And who knows how many other people they took with them? The story doesn't say. Surely there were women along and probably children too. A journey of that importance and that magnitude must be done in community. Help us to remember ourselves that we are never alone, that we have friends and we have family, we have community wherever we might seek it. Because sometimes the journey is hard or it's difficult, the path is rocky, the night is dark. We are sometimes frightened ourselves and sometimes unsure of where we are even going. Remind us to look up and to find in the heavens a pole star, a guiding star, a place of reference, something to encourage us on. And even more than a star, let us find that encouragement in one another. And whenever we might, let us be that encouragement. For the gifts that we bear are precious gifts. They are not as tangible as gold and frankincense and myrrh. They are instead the gifts of hope, the gifts of joy, the gifts of peace, and the gifts of love. Let us bear these intangible gifts forward with us. Let us see in the eyes of all that we meet, both stranger and friend, the incarnation of all that is good in this world. And remind us over and over again in this new year that the goodness of this world is meted out in small acts of kindness. It is brought to being by the love and the simple, genuine humanness of it all. The small kindnesses, the little gifts, the warm hug, the meal brought. This journey is an amazing thing. It is amazing in that it requires of us no more and no less than to be fully human, to be fully open to the beauty of this world and to all the sadness as well. Open our hearts, keep them open, keep us focused on that star, and journey with us, we pray. Amen.
Join me in saying the affirmation of faith, which you will find in your missal, very first page. First in English, then in Spanish. Love is the spirit of this church, and service is its gift. This is our great covenant, to dwell together in peace, to seek the truth in love, and to help one another. El amor es el espíritu de esta iglesia, y el servicio es su ofrenda. Este es nuestro gran pacto, el convivir unidos en paz, el buscar la verdad en amor y ayudarnos unos a los otros. If you turn to the last page of your bulletin, there are several announcements I would like to call your attention to, because I know that after this service you're going to read them all very carefully. First Sunday Labyrinth Walk in Founders Hall, 11:30 to 1:30 on the 7th Circuit Path. Also, after coffee hour in Emerson, there is a documentary, Rediscovering the Labyrinth. Remember, the first Sunday of each month, you are welcome to walk the labyrinth. It's a wonderful experience. And Linda Dobbins has done a wonderful job reminding us that this is open to us also in this church. There will be a meet and greet reception for Holly Williams, Saturday, January 11th, starting at 2 in Emerson Hall. And we always need volunteers. Remember when I asked you what 3 gifts do you have to give to the church? Here's a wonderful opportunity.
All right, let's sing again. I invite you to find one of those gray hymnals. We'll turn to number 350 and let us stand and sing together the ceaseless flow of endless time. Please rise as you are able. Number 350.
The ceaseless flow of endless time, no one can check or stray. We'll view the past with no regret, nor future with dismay. The present slips into the past, and dreamlike melts away. The breaking of tomorrow's dawn begins anew today. The past and future ever meet in the eternal now, to make each day a thing complete, shall be our New Year vow.
Go into this new year filled with hope and with promise. Go expecting there to see holiness, to see the gifts all around you. And remember, you will find them in the least expected places. Go in peace and go in love. Amen.